If you feel extremely tired without doing anything, it might be due to issues with your mental energy. At this point, you must learn to borrow energy from the universe. If you are naturally a low-energy person, you need to learn how to steal energy from the universe. Once you grasp this, everything will become smoother, and you might even turn the tables in your favor. Black crystal warmly welcomes everyone. Today, we will explore 8 ways to activate luck in your body and protect your mental energy. Having good mental energy is the first step to changing your fate. First, use the law of attraction. There was a man who, at 45, was still poor and unsuccessful. He felt he couldn't continue living like this and decided that within a year, he must earn $1 million. From then on, whether eating, walking, bathing, before sleeping, or even dreaming, he only thought about that $1 million. Every moment, everywhere, the thought of earning $1 million consumed his mind. He even felt as if he already owned that money. Then one day, an idea struck him. Why not collect and compile inspiring stories and small philosophies into a book and sell it to those who need motivation? So, he wrote a book titled Chicken Soup for the Soul. The book was warmly received and earned him $1 million in royalties, helping him achieve his dream. He was Jack Canfield, the founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. This wasn't a miracle but the law of attraction. Keep the image of your goal in your mind. Feel the joy of achieving it. You can truly attract what you desire. Do you know how powerful the human subconscious is? During World War II, the Germans conducted a psychological experiment. They blindfolded a man, tied him to a chair, and ran an ice cube across his wrist, telling him they would drain his blood until he died. Then, they turned on a faucet nearby, letting the victim hear the sound of dripping water. In reality, the man's wrist wasn't injured, but the sensation of being cut by the ice cube made him believe it was real. After an hour and a half, the man died of blood loss, even though his body had no wounds. It's often said that half of cancer patients die from the disease, and the other half die from fear. Emotions can even change human genes. In 1991, neuroscientists discovered an astonishing secret. Our thoughts carry energy in magnetic fields. They have the ability to attract things of the same frequency into our lives, ultimately shaping our destiny. This is the law of attraction of the universe. Rhonda Byrne once went through dark times in her life. Her father died, she got divorced, and her career was at a standstill, plunging her life into despair. Later, she accidentally discovered the secret of the law of attraction, that energy and reality can attract and interact with each other. She wrote the book The Secret, successfully changing her fate and eventually becoming a billionaire. Believe that you are capable, then act as if you are. This state will integrate into your life and work, and eventually, you will truly become that person. Warren Buffett once said, "Once you have a mindset of always saving money, you won't have enough energy to develop a mindset of earning money. You will remain steadily poor." Simply put, your mental energy is your magnetism. The more positive you are, the more energy you have, and the more good things you attract. If your mindset is negative, you will attract negative people and events. Thus, it's hard to meet noble people, or seize opportunities. Someone once asked Felix, the European marathon champion, "Who do you want to thank the most in your life?" Everyone guessed he would say his family, friends, or coach. But surprisingly, Felix thanked a thief who once stole his bicycle. Felix explained that when he was 13, his school was far from home. His family was too poor to afford a dormitory, so he had to ride an old bicycle to school every day. One day, he forgot to lock his bike, and it was stolen. His family couldn't afford a new one, so he had to wake up early and run 5 kilometers to school. Running 10 kilometers daily for 3 years not only earned him the school's long-distance running championship but also opened up a sports career, making him a marathon champion. This proves that luck truly exists, but you need faith to see it. Second, don't overcalculate. People who never want to suffer losses will eventually be betrayed by their own greed. Many people often overcalculate in trivial matters. Being overly calculating is only suitable for shopping, not for big tasks or building relationships. People around you will quickly notice this, and over time, everyone will leave you. There was a man who owned a large and beautiful pearl. But he wasn't satisfied because there was a small spot on it. He thought that if he could remove the spot, the pearl would become the world's most valuable treasure. So, he started grinding the surface of the pearl. But the spot remained. He continued grinding layer by layer until the spot disappeared, but the pearl was gone too. Overcalculating gains and losses only makes you anxious and stressed. It's like holding sand in your hand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. Conversely, if you let the sand be, more will stay in your hand. We often get upset over small things, relationships, or gains and losses. If you can't overcome that wall, turn around and find another path. Human maturity is also reflected in learning to accept life's imperfections and not wasting time on trivial matters. Use that time to explore life's beauty and seize small moments of happiness. This will help maintain and enhance your mental energy. Third, embrace new things. One day, a woman, after arguing with her husband, was so angry that she wanted to cry. But out of pride, she didn't want to go to her mother's house to cry, so she came up with an idea. She went to a funeral home to cry because no one would find it strange there. She found a funeral service for an old man, sat down, and started crying. Suddenly, two middle-aged women in black saw her and whispered to each other, "I didn't expect this old man to have a mistress outside." They went over to help her up and comforted her. "Sister, seeing you cry so sadly, we decided to give you 10 million, but don't think about the real estate and stocks anymore." This story teaches us to go out and interact with new circles. You might encounter unexpected things. People who rarely socialize, live isolated, and don't step out of their homes will gradually become depressed and lose their vitality. There are three main ways to replenish energy: sky replenishment, earth replenishment, and human replenishment. Sky replenishment involves basking in the sun, admiring the moon, and immersing yourself in nature. Earth replenishment involves walking barefoot on soft ground, hiking, swimming, and exercising to regenerate energy from the earth. Human replenishment involves wearing clothes you love, eating your favorite foods, and interacting with like-minded people, which will quickly help you recover energy. If you stay home for too long without going out, you will lose the flexibility of your soul. Like a car left unused for a long time, when you open the door, you'll smell an unpleasant odor even though the inside is clean. Similarly, a soul confined within four walls, not breathing fresh air, will gradually become stale. One day, your soul will rot if you don't interact with the outside world. Ina Kazuo once said, "People must go out, socialize, experience new things, and meet all kinds of people. Only then will your brain function, and you'll feel alive." It doesn't matter what you do outside, even if it's just sitting in a cafe. The important thing is not to stay cooped up at home. Only when you step outside can your beautiful soul breathe fresh air. You don't need a specific goal, just step out and feel the wind. Watch a sunrise or sunset, though they appear every day, each day is different. If you're lucky, you might encounter unexpected joys and wonderful people. Remember, people must be in places without limits, without ceilings. Interact with nature, go to a nearby park, observe trees striving to grow, and watch birds flying in the sky. Then, you'll see how simple and beautiful your world is. What is difficulty? Difficulty is being confined within four walls, making everything complicated. The way out is to step outside. Every step is a path. Go out to meet luck. If you don't go out, how can you meet luck? There was an unemployed man whose life was full of pressure, making him always high-strung. He tried small businesses but always lost money. One day, he heard that a successful businessman had moved to town. He decided to seek advice. The businessman welcomed him warmly and said, "I'm not Buddha, but I want to ask you for a favor. I have 50 pairs of shoes, help me sell them all in a week. But remember, whether customers buy or not, you must keep a smile on your face." The man was surprised but agreed. He took the shoes door to door, always smiling and patiently demonstrating their quality. In just 5 days, he sold all 50 pairs. He returned to the businessman's house but was told by the businessman's wife that he had gone far away, leaving only a message: "Sell another 100 pairs of shoes in a week, then come back." The man felt like he had been doused with cold water but persisted. This time, he smiled more and treated customers more enthusiastically. As a result, in just 5 days, he sold all 100 pairs and even received many pre-orders. Excited, he went to the businessman, asking if there were more shoes because he had received additional orders. The businessman laughed and said, "I think you've understood the secret to success." The man was stunned, then laughed and realized that the secret was a positive attitude and joy in work. In May 2012, a security guard at Alibaba left the company. Among the tens of thousands who leave each year, this event would normally be insignificant. But he made the news. The reason was simple. He always started work at 6 a.m., standing at the company gate with a wide smile, showing 16 teeth, and greeting each employee with, "Good morning, colleague." Though he only had a middle school education and claimed to have no special skills, he believed that a smile and an optimistic attitude would improve his life. He had to change, and the first step was to open up and communicate with strangers. From being unnoticed, more and more people began to respond to him with smiles and greetings like his. His persistence every morning made him increasingly famous at Alibaba, and the nickname the Smiling Security Guard became familiar to everyone. Before leaving Alibaba, he wrote on social media, "We cannot change the world, but we can change ourselves." The simplest way to change your negative energy is to smile every day. Stand in front of a mirror and smile for 5 to 10 minutes each day, and you'll feel the energy change. If you don't believe it, just try it. 5th, do new things. A beggar walking down the street met a little girl selling flowers. Seeing him pitiful, she gave him a rose. At home, the beggar casually found a dirty bottle to put the flower in. But soon, he realized, how could such a beautiful rose be placed in such a dirty bottle? So, he cleaned the bottle and put the flower back. But then he thought, a beautiful rose in a clean bottle, but his house was a mess. So, he cleaned his house. But then he realized, with a clean house, a clean bottle, and a beautiful rose, his shabby clothes didn't match. So, he bathed, changed, and made himself neat. Looking at the house, the flower bottle, and himself in the mirror, he thought, "Why am I a beggar?" The next day, he decided to find a job to live up to the rose. Dear friend, when the way you treat life doesn't change, the things that happen in your life won't change either, and the result will only be a boring loop. So, where does luck come from? To change your life and work, try new things. Sometimes, a small rose can create a butterfly effect, changing your entire life. Henry Ford, the founder of Ford, once said, "When people say they want a faster horse, what they really need is a car." At that time, many people didn't want to give up horses, thinking they were warm and could communicate. They thought cars were cold, soulless machines. Similarly, in any era, people resist new things. They are trapped in their habits, clinging to familiar comforts and rarely actively embracing the new. Unless there's a strong push forcing them to change. During the Republic of China era, when the government required men to cut their queues, many opposed it, believing that hair was a part of the body given by parents and couldn't be cut. But when the law stated that those who didn't cut their queues would be punished, everyone cut their hair. People are often bound by old habits and rarely voluntarily change. However, if there's enough pressure or a strong push, even a criticism or embarrassment, it can become a good thing, helping you step out of your comfort zone. Let's talk more about opportunities. Opportunities aren't things that suddenly appear, and you just need to grab them. That's just a legend. Outstanding individuals often have to try repeatedly, failing dozens or even hundreds of times before grasping something suitable and succeeding. Only after success do people praise them for their foresight. Seizing an opportunity once and succeeding and realizing one's value is just a fairy tale. The truth is, they tried countless times and finally succeeded once. That opportunity wasn't seized but was the result of many trials. Sixth, stop complaining and learn to self-reflect. An elderly couple lived together their whole lives, loving each other dearly. However, the old man was only dissatisfied with one thing: his wife's noodles were too soft. Over the years, he had repeatedly suggested, "Don't cook the noodles so soft, just 5 minutes is enough." But every time he sat down to eat, the noodles were still soft. Finally, one day, he couldn't take it anymore. He decided to cook the noodles himself. He cooked them for exactly 5 minutes, and the noodles were perfectly cooked. Delighted, he called his wife in the bedroom, "Come and see. Today, I'll show you how to cook noodles without making them soft." His wife lay in bed, refusing to get up, and just smiled, saying, "Today, I also want you to see how noodles become soft after cooking." It turned out, it wasn't that his wife didn't know how to cook noodles. The problem was that the old man always woke up too late, causing the initially perfectly cooked noodles to cool and become soft. In life, many people always think the fault lies with others, not realizing that the real problem lies within themselves. When facing difficulties, instead of complaining or blaming, try to look back at yourself to find a solution. People who complain often lack good fortune. People with good fortune never complain, they are always happy, optimistic, and satisfied with what they have. You see, people who complain about their husbands can't enjoy happiness from their husbands. People who complain about their children can't receive joy from their children. People who complain about noodles might even choke while eating them. People who complain about water might even get burned while drinking it. There was a woman who had been complaining about her neighbor for years. "That woman is so lazy, she doesn't even know how to wash clothes properly. Just look at the clothes she hangs outside, they're always dirty." One day, a close friend came over, took a clean cloth, and wiped the woman's window. Then, the friend said, "Look, your neighbor's clothes aren't dirty, it's just that your window is dirty." It turned out, her own window was dirty, making everything outside seem stained. We often scrutinize others with harsh eyes but overlook our own problems. Instead of hastily demanding from others, look back at yourself. That's the best way to solve problems. Every complaint erodes a person's good fortune, creating a worse life. Complaining is like a mental virus, like secondhand smoke. It not only harms the speaker but also affects the listener. Psychologists at the University of California, Los Angeles, once conducted an experiment. They placed an optimistic person in a room with a chronic complainer. After 20 minutes, the optimistic person also started sighing and showing signs of depression. Negative emotions spread like a virus. Some people are like emotional black holes, they drain your energy, leaving you exhausted and unhappy. One day, you fall into a mud pit with a pig. What can you do? Try to climb out. Don't waste time struggling with the pig in the mud. Don't fight with pigs because you'll get dirty, and they'll enjoy it. In life or work, we often encounter negative or unreasonable people. The best way is to stay away from them as soon as possible. As the saying goes, if a dog bites you, you can't bite it back. So, refusing to fight with pigs isn't letting them off but letting yourself off. Skilled people are very good at protecting their energy. Meeting someone not on the same wavelength, just talking a little, can drain their energy. More seriously, it might take them days to recover. No matter how perfect you are, there will always be people in your social circle who don't like you. Instead of confronting this reality, learn to adapt or ignore it. Focus on what you can change and what truly matters. What exhausts people isn't the distant high mountains but the small pebbles in their shoes. We can't avoid pebbles in our shoes, but we can stop, shake them out, and continue our journey. When you grow and become stronger, with a broader perspective, Negative people and trivial matters will eventually be just small pebbles on your path. Have you ever noticed that when you meet someone, you really want to be around them? Maybe you're worried or preoccupied with something, but just stepping into their space, sitting beside them, you immediately feel at peace. This is because their energy and aura are very clean, calm, and stable, able to envelop and heal you. When a person trains their energy field to be stable, they can purify those around them. Choose positive, optimistic people to associate with and stay away from negative ones. This helps you maintain a positive, strong energy field, and you'll naturally attract high energy from the universe. Do not interfere in the karma of others. There was a small river without a bridge, so every day they had to use a boat to cross the river. In the morning, many people gathered on the riverbank to cross the river. The boatman pushed the boat from the sandbank into the water and accidentally crushed many small fish and shrimps on the bank. A scholar was waiting for the boat with a monk. The scholar said to the monk, "Look at how many small fish and shrimps were crushed to death. Is this the fault of the boatman or the people on the boat?" The monk, who was a Zen master, replied with a Zen saying, "Student, this is your fault." The scholar became angry after hearing this. "Why is it my fault? What does this have to do with me?" The monk slowly replied, "Student, you manage your own business. In life, whatever you do, you must do it according to your duty. You must protect heaven and earth, your conscience, and your morality. If you go beyond the limit and interfere in matters that are not yours, you will only bring trouble. A wise person does not care about other people's business, nor does he interfere with other people's karma. He understands that people cannot change other people. If you try to manage or change others, you will only make yourself frustrated. Every time you meddle in other people's business, you will only confuse your own mind. For example, you see a hungry person, bring them a fish. But after a while, they say, "I can't stand the smell of fish." Finally, you realize that what you need to do is not doing well, but also causing trouble. Some people like to meddle in other people's family affairs and end up bringing disaster upon themselves. Liu Bei's experience is a testament to this. When Liu Bei went to Jingzhou, he often drank with Liu Biao. One day, while drinking, Liu Biao suddenly burst into tears. Liu Bei hurriedly asked the reason. Liu Biao said to Liu Bei, "My eldest son, Liu Qi, although has potential, has a weak personality, and will not be able to accomplish great things. As for the second son, Liu Zong, born by Lady Tai, is very intelligent. I want to make Liu Zong the heir, but I am worried that this is not in line with common sense and morality. If I make Liu Qi the heir, I am afraid that Lady Tai will cause chaos. Therefore, I hope that she will help me give her opinion." The division of family property is an extremely important matter. Liu Bei was very grateful to Liu Biao for trusting him so much and answered frankly, "Elder brother, since ancient times, changing the heir has inevitably led to chaos. You absolutely should not do that. If you are worried that Lady Tai will cause trouble, you can learn how to arrange things, but you absolutely must not spoil the young son too much." After Liu Biao heard this, he remained silent and said nothing. The scary thing is, since Liu Bei arrived, Lady Tai often hid behind the screen to eavesdrop on their conversations. Not a single word of Liu Bei's words fell into Lady Tai's hands. Therefore, she hated Liu Bei very much and collaborated with her brothers many times to find ways to eliminate him. In China, there is a solemn saying, "Do not meddle in other people's family affairs." This reminds people not to interfere in other people's family affairs. Every family has a difficult scripture to read, and even a good judge finds it difficult to judge family affairs. If you have not managed your own family affairs well, but then comment on other people's family affairs, this is no different from asking for trouble and trouble. Therefore, stay away from gossiping to preserve your energy.